welcome to my channel. Please, if you missed the previous video, please endeavor to go back and watch because it's a continuation from the first class. So what I did was to place another plain sheet of paper, and then I pinned this one, my pattern on it. So I traced. So you need your tracing wheel to trace. So I traced the black line, so you can see the lines. The red one is the back, while the black one is the front. So this is our hip, and then this is what I did. So I'll take out the pins and I'll draw out my lines. So this is my ankle, a normal pant, but we'll be extending it because it's a palazzo. We'll extend the length and then draw out the line. So from here, what I have is 3.5, 3.5. So I'll mark my 3.5. So what I have here is 8.5. So this is my new line, my new ankle. So this is floor length actually, not ankle. Okay, depends on how much you want to open your palazzo. So you can do 1.5, you can do, so I'm opening with 3 inches here, and then on this part 3 inches on both sides, 3 inches. So I'll use a straight ruler to connect this line here, these 3 inches on both sides. So there are some palazzo that the fullness begins from here, so that is the one I'm doing, so not from here. So the one I'll maintain the 3 inches fullness at the hem. The fullness will come from the crotch line, not these 3 inches. So depends on what you are doing. So and this person in particular wants an elastic band on the waist. So what it means is that the waist and the crotch line measurement will almost be the same. Or I'll use a hip measurement. Okay, so remember, this is the straight line from our pattern. This is the straight line that comes down. So I'll measure this. Now this is because there's an elastic around the waist, so I want to use the same measurement on my waistline. So what I have 10.5. Mark 10.5 here. So I'll connect to the waist. So I will have the same measurement. Okay. So what I have here now is what I have on the waist, because I'm doing an elastic band. So if the waist measurement is not the same with the hip, it won't be able to pass. She won't be able to put it on. Okay. So this is it now. Now remember, this is a penciled, a fitted pencil pant. So I want to add ease. So not that it will be tight, so just want a little bit of ease. So what I will do now, I'll add 0.5 inch allowance, then plus the sewing allowance. I'll be doing 1 inch sewing allowance, then 0.5 each seam allowance. That's 1.5. Okay, so I want to do 1.5 so that in case she said she wants it freer. Otherwise 0.5 is okay. Just 0.5, you connect it back to the waist, then you add your seam allowance. So I'll be adding ease plus seam allowance. So I'll be doing 1.5. okay, so this is my 1.5 here. So remember to sew out your 1 inch. So when I'm sewing now, I will sew out 1 inch, and then for the waist, because it's elastic I'm going to add my elastic allowance, because I'm going to fold it. So fold it, the elastic is 1 inch elastic. Everything should be like 1.5, 1.5 inch seam allowance. So I'll add my seam allowance of 1.5 inches. And I'm showing you how to cut a palazzo pant with elastic band. Remember, we did 3 inches. We did 3 inches at the hem, right? So because we did 3 inches at the hem, so I'm going to connect from here to these 3 inches. So not here anymore. So you're not starting from here. You are starting from here. So this is the front. And my palazzo is starting from my crotch line, so you can see it's ended at the same 3, so I still did the same 3 inches fullness at the hem. So I just started the connection from my connection from the crotch line. So I'll repeat the same thing to the side here. So this now, this is the extension of my crotch line. So this is where my plus the seam allowance and everything, so this is where it is. Okay, so now I'll connect this one to my 3 inches at the hem. So I'll connect this back to the 3 inches line. So you can see. So guys, this is it. So what we'll be cutting now, we'll be cutting from the waist. So we'll start cutting from here. Is the normal waistline, and this is the folding for the elastic band. Okay, so we'll start cutting from here. So I've added all the fullness and everything now, so it's just to cut. Okay, so we are good to go. So I'll cut this out now and then place it on my fabric. I want to draft the back part of this on this pattern, but I'll be using a separate marker pen so you don't confuse. So when you are doing this, you can just get another pattern paper to trace this out so you don't get confused. So you trace the front out first before drafting the back. For the back, we'll come in a half inch, 0.5 half inch, and then we'll come up 1 inch. Then you connect back to your waist. Okay, so I'll be doing 3 inches. So remember this other part here, we are coming out 1.5. I'll use this line to mark the 3 inches. 3 inches here. So I'll use my ruler to connect that. So this is it. Start by cutting the back first before the front. So because it's after cutting the back, then we'll now cut out these excesses around the back, and then I won't be doing this, so I'll just extend the line to the waist. So I'll use the same measurement. I don't know if you're getting me. So I'll just extend this now. And instead of using this, instead of connecting from here to here, I'll just maintain the same line here. So everything here, because it's elastic, everything is going to be folded, so everything will be inside. Okay, so now I'll trace this out. Remember, I've added seam allowance already to this part here. So this part will be sewing 1 inch. Once you get to the crotch line, you can now start reducing your hand. You won't be sewing 1 inch anymore. You can now start reducing your hand to half an inch. Okay, so for the front, so I won't add the seam allowance here. I'll add it on the fabric, so this pattern is not too rough. Okay, so let me cut it out. This is my back crotch line. Okay, so if I cut out this, if I follow the line now, what it means is that I've already cut out my front, so I won't be following the line. When I get here, I'll follow my front line. Okay, so what I'll do is to fold this part in. So I'll fold this front part in. So you see, so this is what I'm cutting. Like I said before, we'll fold this in. This is the back and this is the front, so I'll fold this part in. Or you can do this directly on your fabric if you don't have the time to draft. So I actually drafted because I will be using the pattern to cut different types of pants. So endeavor to subscribe. I'll be adding my seam allowance on this part here, and then I'll add 0.5. So I'll be sewing 0.5 this part here. Remember, I've added all the allowance here. So here we are sewing 1 inch here. So this is what you have after cutting. So I will notch the crotch line. So take out the pins and then we'll cut the front. So now we want to cut the front. So we'll be cutting out crotch extension. So this is the line. Okay. So we'll open the part to fold it in. So this is it. You know, we don't need this anymore. This is the front line we need. So I'll be cutting out this back line here, the back crotch line. I'll cut it out, leaving us with the front. So you can see we are back with our normal front. I'll place this also on our fabric and then we will cut. So this is just basically about the front and the back. So after which I'll show you how to join it. Okay, so I will still be adding, so we'll still be adding seam allowance for joining here, around here, and then 1/2 inch down, and then also from here we'll now add a 1/2 inch down. I don't want us to ease into our palazzo measurement. Okay, adding 0.5 inch seam allowance. Please endeavor to measure. So after cutting, you take out your pins and then you join. So it's quite easy. The sewing is very easy. So this is how, because it's elastic, you're not doing a placard. If you're doing a fly front, that one is a different thing entirely. So you'll be sewing this part like this. So I'll pin it and then you stop here. So you stop here. Now don't sew and then continue down. No. After sewing, this is what you have. So you have your front like this, and then do the same thing to the back. So from here and then you stop here, and then you open it up, and then you place both together. From here you place together like this, and then you sew down. You place this, and then after sewing you open, and then you iron the same lines open. This is how you sew. You sew it to the hem, and then you continue from here also, and then you sew down. So after sewing this part, then you now come back to this your waist, and then you sew your 1/2 inch or 1 inch as you added. You sew down, and then you come to this side, you sew. So after sewing, you have one piece, and then after which, so this is the elastic I'll be using for the waist line. So I'll overlock it, and then I'll fold it once. I'll make sure I fold the 1.5 in. Okay, so if you don't have an overlocking machine, you can fold once. You can sew it once round. After sewing it round, then you can now fold it by your 1 inch. You sew. So after sewing, you sew it round, and then you end somewhere. Wherever you end, you don't close it. You leave it open. Then you take your elastic and then you pass it around. So that is it, guys. Don't forget to subscribe.
Okay guys, so this pattern is the master pattern. It is from here I traced that and I made the palazzo pattern. I altered the pattern to make a palazzo. I'll be altering it to make a boot cut and a pieces. So please subscribe so you don't miss out when I post. Okay, so the red lines you're seeing is the back, while the blue lines is the front. So that you're seeing, you can sew, you can pleat or do a tuck. Okay,
inside. So I folded the hem, added 1.5-inch seam allowance around the waist. So we'll be putting our elastic band. So I've gone ahead to sew the waist round. So I stopped, I closed this part. So we'll be passing our elastic band from here. Okay, so this is my elastic band. So the original waist of this person is like 30 inches. So I cut about 26. Pin this part down so it doesn't move, and then I'll start passing it from here. Then I will sew this part very well. I'll push it inside and then I'll close this part. I can't even find the part I sew. It has gone in. So what I'll do is just to push it up and then close this part, and our waist is all set. So what I did, I ended up sewing down from the hip 1 inch, because I noticed it was quite big and I already overlocked the inside. Because this is a pant and it's not a jumpsuit, so it will be difficult for you to identify the back. Sometimes once you keep your pants like this, you see this longer part here, this is always the back, but then some clients don't have the patience to look at it carefully. So if you have a tag, you can just put your tag. So I'll get this little green fabric and then I'll just use it to tack it. I'll just get a needle and thread to tack it. I'll cut it neatly, just a little. And then when you're tacking, make sure you tack it at the center back, okay, so that the client will be able to differentiate the back from the front.